you from?
South Carolina.
So I think, where's your military experience? Where's that fall in between South Carolina here, Charlotte? When did that begin for you?
So my military experience began September 1993. I graduated high school June of 1993 and waited a little bit and went to basic training. So after basic training um, and being gone for almost a year or a little over a year and a half, I was stationed in Wichita Falls, Texas for my school for heat and ventilation, air conditioning, and refrigeration. So that was my first job, and I stayed in that for 4 years and actually went back home to Charleston, South Carolina, and I was stationed at the Air Force Base.
Ooh, I gotta take it back. Okay, we're going back to high school. What made you say I want to join the military?
Um, it definitely was not because of my parents, because neither are military. Um, it was just for goals that I had. I wanted to go to college. I wanted to travel the world and enjoy life. And after my second oldest brother joined the Air Force, which is what I retired Air Force, um, after he joined, um, I decided not joining the Army because that was my first choice. I decided to join the Air Force, and that's what I did. So it was just a thing of education and traveling.
I was gonna ask you, the reason you joined the Air Force, was it mostly your brother?
Mm, I think so. I think so. Because other than that, we didn't have ROTC at my high school. Um, the Army came to you, but the Air Force didn't.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So you get through boot camp. I know from military experience, as far as family is, usually don't pick your job. They usually pick it for you. So your job that you had, is that what you wanted, or that's what they gave
That's what they gave me. Definitely HVAC is what they gave me to fill a quota. And I found that out 4 years later after being in and coming back, to Charleston, being at Charleston. Luckily, I had a wonderful commander that saw my downfalls, I would say, as far as progressing um, test wise. And I could do the work. I did all of the hands on, received my certification for refrigerant, um, which is a universal certification while I was there. But he saw my downfalls when it came to testing, and he said, "You're not even supposed to be in here because of your test scores." So he got me connected with what I really wanted to do, which was personnel, which in the civilian world is human resources. So that's pretty much my background, human resources.
Before I get to that, how was that experience? HVAC, how was that?
I loved it. Um, I'm one of those ones that I am not afraid to get my hands dirty. And I think growing up with five brothers and the country life, um, I wasn't afraid to get dirty. So it was an experience. I was the only female in the shop that I was in, alongside with my brother. So that was pretty cool. And of course, they would not let us work together. But it was a learning experience for me. I enjoyed it until now, even today, being in my house, my own home. I know how to troubleshoot.
I think how was that? It's kind of a rare experience to be able to do the military with a sibling. So I think how was that too?
It was fun. Even though he was the first one that went away, I still had five others. And so I was the second one to go in, and then my two younger brothers, they followed us, and now we're all retired. We're all Air Force retired.
All a family affair. I love it. So I think for you, when did it hit for you to when you said, okay, it's time to leave?
When it was time for me, and I'll tell anybody, when it comes to the military, mentally, you know when it's time for you to say it was fun while it lasted. And we were our mission was changing. And so, and they were getting rid of a lot of personnel people or a lot of personnel staff. And it was either retraining to a whole new job or another position or going to a position where you possibly could not get promoted. And um, I was a little past my 20th year. And when things really started changing, I was like, okay, I'm good. So I was shy 9 months of 22 years. So 21 years, that was me.
You say you're like, you know what? I
Yeah,
did a good amount. It's
I
time to go.
did. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
I talk to a lot of veterans, and there are some, usually when they get out, they're like, what do I do next? Did you have that moment getting out after 21 years of like, what do I do next? Or did you know?
No, because reserve. I did the reserves and the guard, and I actually my last 7 years was with the North Carolina Air National Guard. And so for that, I moved to Charlotte in 1998. So I've been here for a while. And I started working for the city in 2000.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. So I did not have that problem of finding something to do once I retired. It was just a continuation of what I was already doing. The good thing was I was able to incorporate what I was learning as far as that human resource, piece from the military. And I think that kind of molded me into the person that I am and how I conduct business, how I conduct myself, and how I deal with people in general.
I love it. I think
So
what kind of drew you to the city? What made you say, I want to work at the city of Charlotte?
at that point, it was just a job. It was moving, new to the city of Charlotte. Um, my first job was with the temp agency with Cigna Healthcare. And then, because, back then, and I guess even now, they did a lot of hiring through temp agencies. So I've worked with First Union when it was First Union. Like I said, Cigna Healthcare doing medical billing. And so I was constantly applying. But for me, it was all about long-term career. I was not the one that I'm here today and gone tomorrow. It was all about career, um, you know, decisions for me.
So you get on with the city. What was your job initially when you got hired on?
When I started, I was with what they call CMUD back then, but Charlotte Water at Irving Creek Wastewater Treatment Plant as an office assistant, and I stayed there for 8 years.
So take me through your journey through the city. How did you get from that role to where you're at now, where I see you all the time?
Right. So, like I said, I started in 2000, May of 2000. I'm sorry, March of 2000, at Irving Creek Wastewater Treatment Plant, and I was the office assistant for Irving Creek, Irving Creek operations and maintenance for wastewater. Um, and so the roles have changed, but back then I was responsible not just for the plant that I was at, but I was responsible for maintenance at all five wastewater treatment plants at that time. And so I reported to two managers, two different managers, maintenance and operations, which I absolutely loved it. Um, and from there, and I actually learned a lot because we did everything from ordering vehicles to now I'm actually seeing the process of since I'm in fleet. But back then it was, ordering vehicles for Charlotte Water or for the department that I was in. It was doing payroll. It was handling P cards and travel and, setting employees up for travel. So it was like back then as an office assistant, I did it all. Purchasing everything versus now roles are, kind of split between people. Um, from there, I left and went to Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools and for about 2.5 years, and decided to come back. And when I came back, I went to the airport. And
Fitting, right?
yeah. And so at the airport, I was in the ground transportation department. And in the ground transportation department, I was their admin, where again, um, I did payroll, different, office procedures, and helping out, basically wherever within ground transportation. And so I did that from 2011 until 2015. And 2016, I've been with Fleet since, and absolutely love it.
Did you ever imagine that you would have a really like a 20 plus year career with the city? Did you imagine you'd be here that long?
No, I didn't. I really didn't. 20 is like the magic number, right? When it comes to retirement. But trust, I am counting down. I am counting down, and so 30 is now my magic number. Um, and prayerfully, hopefully, I'll make it to that 30-year mark. And of course, I won't be the age, but I'll take the 30.
How long we got left?
6.
Okay. That'll fly by. I mean, the year's almost over.
Right, right.
I want to ask, I've asked everyone too, is I think, how has your military experience, how have you been able to use that in the roles that you have here at the city?
Oh my God. I think for one, the discipline, um, like I said, I've pretty much always been a structured type person, but just the way the military setting is, and the training that you receive, in the military, you hardly won't get it on the outside. And it teaches you different things, not just about yourself, but just how to engage with other people, um, being diverse, it just teaches you a lot. And so for me, incorporating it with what I do, like I said, my background has always been like human resources. And in the military, it was everything from bringing airmen in to them leaving, whether that was them retiring, going to another base, going to another military component, working closely with the recruiters, testing wise, customer service. It just gives you a wide range of things that you can continuously live by, and incorporate, and like my job now, it is admin type, hands on. And I don't know, I just pretty much go with the flow, whatever is asked. That's how I was in the military. It's like you're voluntold to do a lot in the military, but I always enjoy what I do.
I love it. You kind of hit it too with that answer, but how has the military changed your life? Or has it?
I think it has, because if any of a lot of my friends, they remember me as a quiet, the quiet person, kind of reserved, and I think I'm still like that. I love to have fun, but I think I'm still like that to a point. But it has changed me in ways to, you can't just look at things one way. You have to look at the big picture. Think before you, speak. Think before you act. Just different things. And don't, I just, I just live life. I try to be simple. I try to live simple, and that's just from different things that I've either experienced in the military, whether it was, or either personal life. But yeah, I think it really has. It calmed me down a lot. Not that I was a wild child, but the military, it has, I think, brought things for me, full circle, just to see, okay, life is good. I can't complain.
My last question is, would you do it again? If you had the chance, if you could go back and redo your life, would you do it again?
I would. I say that very cautiously, very slowly. Um, I enjoyed it, and I don't, the Air Force, we are, we're like the cream of the crop. And I mean, and I was just talking to another vet yesterday, and he said I can't remember a chairman. That's what he called me. He was like, you weren't an airman, you were a chairman. And I was like, okay, I get it, because the Air Force, it just held you to a high standard. Not saying that the other branches didn't, but when you're out in the field, you kind of can see the difference of, you know, how one branch is treated from another. But we all have fun. We all get along. But yeah.